everybody, my name is Michael Desbar, and this is the Michael Desbar Show, and my guest today is the incredible, the original, the unique man who really has had a staggering career since he invented it for himself, which is extremely rare that anybody would invent their own career. He did not audition for a movie playing a character called Weird Al Yankovic and get the role. He wrote the movie. Ladies and gentlemen, Weird Al. The earliest image that I had in my head was that little kid, Alfred on the accordion, and then cut to a few years later, Kurt Cobain describes you as a musical genius. How did that happen? How did that trajectory happen?
Yeah, there's not a lot of trajectories that go from like kid playing the accordion to musical genius. I don't know how that works exactly.
But from him,
that's
to get the blessing of a guy who changed music,
the voice of a generation.
People that really understand what you're doing. Recognize that it is important to be lampooned. Lampooning and parody and satire has been around for centuries, as you're very fully aware, and has been used in many, many civilized cultures.
Well, our national anthem is basically a parody of an old English drinking song.
Indeed it is.
It's very American to do parody.
Yeah, well, it's a very American what you do. Because even though I can see clearly you've been influenced by Monty Python and by Stan Freberg and by all of those great eccentrics, Zappa and of course Dr. Demento, but to put it into an American context now is really extraordinary, because I think it is essentially an American persona that you've created.
I can't help it. It's I reflect my surroundings and I reflect my influences. I like to refer to myself as kind of a pop culture Cuisanart. So I just put all this stimuli into my brain and mix it up and see what comes out.
Absolutely. Is there anybody that you wanted to but then backed off?
If I had a great idea for something, I don't think I would back off. And a true satirist would say that nobody is beyond parody.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably true. A person is not so sacred that they can't be poked fun at. But having said that, there are certain things, certain subject matters which I would probably back off from because, I try not to go too far over the line of bad taste. And my material is fairly family friendly, so I never get too vulgar. So there's certain things I wouldn't do. I wouldn't have any, I mentioned Eric Clapton, I wouldn't have any objection making fun of Eric Clapton,
yes.
But I would not do a Tears in Heaven parody. That would probably be
Understood.
Not in good taste.
No, I totally understand. And I think one of the most interesting things about what you do is, which is what we so much require in our culture, is that you do family-friendly entertainment. Your work is celebratory. It's not accusatory, aggressive, harsh, judgmental. All of the things, or cynical, or ironic, or all of the things that have...
Well, it's a little bit, some of that.
Well, but it's in fun.
Yeah. No, it's not really biting humor. Some of it is, but in general, it's... that's the reason why I've had a track record of people giving permission and a blessing, and they look forward to the Weird Al parody because it's not meant to step on their toes. It's celebrating their work.
I think it elevates their work. I think it's the rite of passage, as is often mentioned when people say...
Go ahead and say it. They're nothing till they've gotten there.
Well, in a sense, it is a seal of approval. Who would have thought that you would play the polka on that wonderful instrument there, ladies and gentlemen, this wonderful accordion.
How did that get here?
I don't know.
Almost as if it replaced her set decoration.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, Lady Gaga, when she was talking to Rolling Stone last year, she called the Weird Al parody her rite of passage, and a lot of artists she called it rite of passage.
Interesting. The other thing that is fascinating is that you've never stood still. You've really explored the connectivity of the internet and digital distribution and ownership and all. I think people are fascinated by that because we've been talking earlier about the music business. Mm-hmm. We know music is free now.
Yes.
So now we have to create other ways of getting our point across. What is your relationship with your fans in terms of interconnectivity?
Mostly platonic. I try not to these days.
Your beautiful wife Susanna will be very happy.
Yes. The internet gives and the internet takes away, and the record industry, as we knew it, basically died a decade or so ago.
Yeah.
But I try to look at the positive side of it. The internet and social media allows me to have more access to my fans and them to me. It allows me to get my music out into pockets of the world that I didn't even know existed before. I've got fans everywhere.
Yes.
And before, if the radio wasn't playing you or if the record stores weren't stocking you, people didn't know you existed.
Yes.
And now it's everywhere.
Yes.
Well, the parodies are a lot less work because there you have the template. You know exactly what it's supposed to sound like. I don't have to do demos for the band. I just give them a copy of the CD. Here, learn this, change the key, here's the arrangement, and I'll see you in the studio. And the style parodies, or the pastiches, or whatever you want to call them, are considerably more work. In fact, they're more work than doing just a generic original song, because not only is it a completely original work, it's meant to sound like somebody else, which means I have to do a lot of research. I have to study another artist's entire body of work. I have to really get into their oeuvre and like figure out what are the little idiosyncrasies, the things that make this artist tick. I think if you study something, so patterns start to emerge. You say, oh, he does that a lot. Oh yeah, that's sort of like a thing for him. Then I just make little notes and then kind of string it all together. Our pop culture is getting, the cycles are getting faster and faster, and people are getting, chewed up and spit out a lot quicker. And as a result, I don't think we have as many iconic superstars as we may have had 20, 30 years ago.
It is true, though, because secrecy, enigma, and mystery, which really has driven entertainment in terms of stars, it doesn't
flip-flopped, it hasn't. I mean, the mystery is kind of gone. It's like, back in the 70s before MTV, like a lot of times people didn't even know what their favorite pop stars looked like.
Yeah.
And now it's like, what they had for breakfast, you follow their Twitter feed, like,
Do you marry the two, if you'll pardon the word, your family and the work? How does that...
You just try to figure out the best way to have them coexist. I mean, the family's obviously the priority, but, I love what I do for a living, and we're trying to make it work out. In my single days, I didn't care how long the tours lasted. I mean, I think in 1999, there was one stretch where I toured solid for 6 months, which, a single guy on the road, that was fine. Yeah. But, I've got a wife, I've got a 10-year-old daughter, and it's like, I don't want to be away from them for, long periods of time. We try not to go more than 2 weeks.
Because you go out there and have such fun, they naturally assume that it's easy. Because you are having such fun.
Well, it still beats having a job.
It is a job. You've got to be there at 7:15, and you've got to get into character, and the Hawaiian shirt has to be here, and you've got to be, it's got to be ready to rock. It's a business. Yeah. But your ability, though, is what I'm so I love you for, because you're making people happy.
I try. And you can't really police the internet, because stuff happens all the time. People say things which are patently not true, and I can't go around always saying that's not right. Yeah. You've got that all wrong. Usually my fans have got my back, and they will.
They'll respond.
They'll respond.
Well, you see, that's what fascinates me, because doing the research, I see that you have a rabid, protective fan base.
Yes. I graduated high school at age 16. I was a valedictorian. I thought I was going to have an adult-like job, and I went to college, got my degree in architecture.
But it happened so fast, though, with you. You went to the architecture, and then you did that demo, and then they played the demo and the thing. And
right.
Demento, and it was very quick.
Took a big left turn, and I'm still going. It didn't seem that quick at the time. I mean, it was.
It doesn't at 16, does it?
No, but I mean, but in retrospect, 2 years out of college, I had signed a record deal. So looking back on it, pretty quick.
Al, I'm so glad you're out in the world. I really am. God bless you.
You too.
Look at your Andy Warhol Marilyn Monroe picture. That's pretty cute. So this is where you compose?
It's, you can see the creative clutter. I make my demos right around here. It's not a studio per se. It's a laptop and a keyboard. In the 80s, I had a literal 3-ring notebook like I had in high school with the plastic tab dividers and one for each song, and I put it.
Nirvana.
But since I got my first laptop, which would have been early 90s, I guess, then it's all computer files. So it's easy to keep my ideas organized that way. This is not everything, but this, so that wouldn't let me keep everything. This is not even. I have a whole storage facility where all the extras wound up, and actually I had to donate on my wife's insistence probably a few hundred Hawaiian shirts that didn't make the cut. She went through them and said, stays, goes, stays, goes.
No, you look at that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is Sergeant Pepper Yankovic. Look at that. Sergeant Yankovic.
I don't wear this to the grocery store that often. This is Suzanne's grandmother.
Are you
it looks like an old Z Gallery portrait, but this is just an old picture that they had.
And you just blew it up because it was so eccentric and so wonderful.
Yeah.
No wonder she married you, Al. This is fantastic. The birds of a feather.
Yeah. That when I was 3. These are the same 4 faces I still make to this day in every photo shoot.
We have Brando. we have, I don't know, talk show host. We have punk rock. Look. John Lydon right down here, and here we have, Justin Bieber, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't branched out since then. This is my whole range of emotion.
And so we'll see you next time.